Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and wherever they're watching this video. Welcome to the special long form film and TV news video on my channel. This is going to be a special one, but this is going to be a three different segments that had to do of that topics. First, they have the Paramount Skydance news, then later Amazon NGM news, and eventually film and TV news. So, how about the three different segments to combine one? But there's a lot of news I would talk about. And since the Iguna Film Festival came recently today, was already begin over in Egypt. So I think doing the topics on the different type of topics. So I happen to do a lot of topics of that. So let's not waste any time and let's go on with it. So first off, you're gonna believe this. The infamous former DC films boss and Watamada before that he become was now on and renewed the and multi-year production deal of the HHE Productions, which is a genre company was under leadership of Paramount. Now, if you don't know what it is, Wat Hamada, who's infamous as become the Hodgman of DC Films, who literally because he literally handed over the film since 2022. Um, Between 2018 to 20 late 2017 and early 2018 to 2022 was known with the disappointing results, including the famous the Batman movie. Matt Reeves, the first one, was probably an awesome film. It's movie too that long, but I kind of liked it. But I hope the sequel would works at DC Studios brand. So all about that rest. And before that, he working at the New Line Cinema executive vice president at production over Warner Brothers New Line Cinema, of course. But he already began. But now he now moving to over at the DC Studios, of course, and in especially Infinite because he had a lot of problems and the disappointing results, including the infamous where Ray Fisher's debacle about the accusing that doing the production of Joss Whedon version of Justice League, or as we call Justice League. But after that, he left Warner Brothers immediately after Warner Brothers and Discovery merger. So he moved Hamill over to Paramount, and this is signed of started a production company called 18HG Productions. And he was under signed agreement in late 2022 and early 2023 was under the regime of Brian Robbins, former Paramount Pictures CEO or chairman, I don't know. But since after Robbins left, and especially Paramount Skydance merger, that the two co-heads of Paramount Pictures, um, uh, Josh Greenstein and Dana Goldberg, aka Paramount's answer to Michael DeLuca and Penn Abbey from Warner Brothers Pictures, agreed to continue on with working with the genre projects, especially the a fellow genre label was all had another genre label was handled the same team behind Weapons, Barbarian, Cobain, and all the three films from New Line Cinema and Anna Kendrick's directorial debut, Woman on the Hour, Borderlight Pictures, would start on the sort of the mid-budget genre label. In the same thing with New Line Cinema for Warner Brothers and Screen Gems for Sony Pictures. But this is a complete unrelated. But even the genre labels between this along Warner Brothers and Sony Pictures had Screen Gems or um, New Line Cinema, but even had to do with that. So I think Hamada was perfect along the team behind Weapons with Borderline Pictures and Cobain too. Sorry, but I hope this is not an episode. And in fact, I think the genre label was focused on the new improved Paramount. But even Hamada was before that he was working at New Line, but he also responsible for movies for under regime was from the Conjuring franchise, as well as the first and highest quality um, the New Line Cinema film. That's the second highest quality was Stephen King's It by director Andy Muschietti. Um, and believe it or not, and this is and I make this up, Hamada was a good friends with Peter Safran. Yeah, he's a fellow general producer who's still working at Warner Brothers through this day. He also with co-CEO of DC Studios with James Gunn, of course. But however, I think this between that the general label was pretty much familiar. But I think Peter Sab would good job to do it 2025 slate, and if it's a success in streaming or theaters or yet or something like that. But over the upcoming projects like the David S. Sandberg's and Entityville movie for Amazon and GM. So we will see what happens. Hashtag in Peter Sab we trust. Anyway, so now so Hamada brought over to Paramount, and this is going to be interesting. So we have a renewed contract of the multi-year production deal, especially the upcoming film Primate was good. We already get a trailer today. So, um, so here's from Deadline. The new David Ellison owned Paramount Pictures is continuing business with general producer Watamada renew him and his ADAC Productions with the exclusive multi-year production deal. Hamada was who produced the New Line's second highest grossing horror film franchise, Stephen King's It, with $1.18 billion globally, and Matt Reeves, the Batman at DC, at 772.3 million dollars, and we continue to develop it and deliver horror picks in the low to mid budget range annually. Hamada first inked the deal with the Road Lot in November 2022, following his run at Warner Brothers as a DC film boss and as a New Line production executive vice president. Another slate at Paramount includes the upcoming Primate out the January 9th, because this movie came out in January because he had a dumping ground and all that stuff, because probably movies gone a lot of problems. Even that pretty much like that 2 years ago, there's a Blumhouse, Megan, was gone on box office to 6, despite had a PG-13 rated theatrical cut, but even unrated cut was released on home video or even the Peacock streaming service. Was yes, NBC Universal streaming service, of course. Um, with the new trailer that dropped today, while we're doing upload logo trailer logo today, Joanna's Robert, direct of the script he wrote with Ernest Rihanna. In the pic, a group of friends, a tropical vacation turns into a terrifying primal tale of a horror and survival. That sounds like a straight copy from Are You Afraid of the Dog series type way. Like I'm not even sure that's a this is I'm not sure that Paramount owns Nickelodeon then. Anyway, Hamada produced with John Hawkins and Brad Plitz, except produced are Vicky D. Rock, Nathan Soundall, Jonana Broppus, director himself, Peter Chipea. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, this is a. I would mention I would mention that Paramount was a partnership deal with Domain Entertainment, or between he had a co-financing deal with Paramount, and especially before it had Warner Brothers, but that's a Domain Entertainment. But I think Lamination did a video on topic, so link in the description. Anyway, Anthony Tita and Nick, and Andrew Larry, of course. Primate starred Johnny Sequoia, Jessica Alexander, and Troy Kosut. It's from the Coda movie. He had do a deaf actor. Victoria Wanhan, Gia Hunter, and Benjamin Chang, Charlie Mann, and Tina Simon. The rest of the ETHE feature lineup as follows. So I gotta say this: if you've seen the trailer of that, so I think this is and then Sonatas was more like a direction. Like if you're watching like you say the National Lampoon vacation movies or any other pretty much the direct to Hallmark or Netflix holiday movies, this is more the different direction, the more horror thing. And this is a Blumhouse. This is or Shaq Creeker movies. Like this is the same thing like Smile. So yeah. Let's continue. The untitled horror film from the director Andrew Ovell, I think is Danish, but yeah, this is the same director who did the scary stories to the dog. There's a film you're familiar with. Director Andrew Ovidal, writer Zachary Dewey, and the D.W. Bookers. Except producers Watamara, Gary Drotham for co-operated. Executive producer Nathan Samdahl at the ATAC Productions. Cast Jacob Seacope and Lou Loper, and Melissa Leo. Familiar director Case Casa, a coffee table fame, who directed the movie or maybe a TV series. Original script by Julian Market, producer Watamada, executive producer Nick Romano. And I forgot to mention, like I said, between the Justice League debacle that the Hamada was getting, there's a lot of YouTube videos about that topics or that. So, yeah, even the more like Joe people care about that. Never watched the Snyder cut of Justice League was on HBO Max, but even the Justice League was probably better film than Snyder cut. But hey, it still works. Anyway, let's get back to where we say Suffer Little, and of course Suffer Little Children, written and directed by Robdia Hortat. The producers Watamada alongside rights holder Paulo Cruz de Cana. Yeah, this is a Spanish. Yeah, I think. Um, it is produced Nick Romano via ETHE's Productions. Yeah, Watamada's producing partner, Nick Romano. That makes sense. Anyway, the project is the reimagining of the 1976 cult Spanish horror film Who Can Kill a Child. Plot details are secret, but the original movie follows a couple who travels to the remote island for vacation. They soon realize that all the adults on the island has been killed. The 1976 film was directed by Nacido Ablicia. Yeah, he's Spanish, and Sindor. It is based off the novel of the Reino de los Nizos by Juan Jose Plants. Well, this is going to be an industry, and I think after the DC Studios drama debacle, like the infamous production of the Justice League, and especially the bad decisions had old Warner Brothers under a fellow friend, chairman of Warner Brothers Pictures, co-heads at Warner Bros. Pictures, Toby Enric. It brought me over to Hamada were bring over to Paramount because of close with the Brian Robbins, and he left. But after the Skyday's merger, and now on the Josh Greenstein and Dana Goldberg. So I think this Warner Brothers. Before that, I think there's these guys between this, along with the team behind Borderline Light Pictures was working with the Warner Brothers in between Warner Bros. Alum. So this, I hope you see what happens if you. I'm excited for the Primate movie was coming in January, and the same thing like did 2 years ago with Megan. So I hope this is not released in dubbing ground all that. So I hope we'll see what happens, and hope this is going to be a first proper horror film under the new Paramount Skydance brand. So we will see. I hope so. But anyway, now over to the that's the Paramount Skydance news. Now over to Amazon NGM news that the Rock is cooking because Dwayne Johnson reunited with the Benny Safdie of the Smashing Machine fame, who worked before in the Smashing Machine, was a A24 film, will reunite to the new project, was going to be The Lizard Music. Was a solo, I think this is going to be a musical, but yeah, so I probably know that after the disaster box office results of the Smashing Machine, but due to public cover videos on YouTube, and like Dwayne Johnson was going to be a movie still going to be ended. Like, I mean, after post Jungle Cruise and Black Adam debacle, I think that Dwayne Johnson has had to do with problems of that acting career. Like the wrestlers, like John Cena has become popular than Dwayne Johnson. Like he become the leading man actor. Yeah, especially the recent season of Peacemaker. But yeah, I think this series season finale not so much. But I still loved it. I haven't seen it, but you guys are putting on the comments anyway. Um, the Rain Johnson on the hand was more like because of the flop in the box office because he can act. When he and one he accepted was the one out of two. There's a sequel of a Disney film, so I loved it, but even critics was not happy. But this is not as good as the first one, but it still works. Yeah, I think the Model Two was a model an underrated sequel, but even it's not as good. Even the recent Disney woke debacle, like I think after Jimmy Kimmel Live, the cancellation, but yeah, I think so. Anyway, this is going to be more. This is third huge project of under the Scott Stuber's United Artists label through Amazon and GM Studios. The first two one had to be Chad Kaczynski's Highlander reboot with Henry Cavill to star, and the Macman's Heat sequel. It's actually originally both came from Warner Brothers, and before that Lionsgate and Warner Brothers, because and between the because the reason that over Highlander there is a budget issues, and the even especially Lionsgate's last 2024 film slate is not so much like movies like Borderlands, The Crow, and the infamous Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis was probably gonna lose a ton of money for the studio, and the other one, his sequel, was probably gonna because of reasons that DeLuca and Abby was not happy to budget and script inside it, especially the WB's recent 2025 slate film slate was probably gone to Sexo, but unfortunately, the parent company, Warner Bros. Discovery, had a lot of financial problems and lose a ton of money, and especially the verge of bankruptcy. But even you split off the two companies, but was split of the one that had to have was the cable networks went under Discovery Global, but same thing with the NBC Universal. Split up with these cable networks to known as Visan. So this is the third big project that Scott Stuber had, and even though I want to mention that Scooper was outside the producing and the between the under the Bros newly relaunched sort of short-lived label company production company Bluegrass Seven. First with the Bruce Springsteen biopic over at 20th Century Studios, and he did the Toto's Frankenstein movie over at Netflix. So this is a third project that even this is not producing, but this is more different kind of direction under the United Artists new improvement at Amazon and GM. So let's continue on. And it had been announced a month ago where they had um, video wars like 20th Century Studios for Disney or especially or maybe A24 who worked before in the Smashing Machine, but after the negative feedback in the box office was disasters box office results, and especially got good reviews of the Rain Johnson's performance. So yeah, that didn't so much, but eventually United Artists for Unite from Amazon and GM Studios was eventually um, landed in the film packaging. So yeah, let's do let's do it in the story. Following the company situation, Amazon, AGN Studios, United Artists, and Scott Stuber had landed Lizard Music a packet a package with Dwayne Johnson attached to star and Benny Safdie attached to direct. Safdie will write the script based off the Daniel Pinkwater novel. A Deadline first reporting that news that the package was hitting the market after Safdie and Johnson's A24 pick, a Smashing Machine, Bottle of the Venice Film Festival that won the pick won Safin Best Picture at the Venice and earned the Johnson's best reviews of his career, portraying UFC fighter Mark Kent. I'm not a huge UFC fan, but I think that I saw it familiar, and even Paramount was signing agreements with UFC, who was under the new Skydance needed ownership. So okay, the film it will follow the boy who his own device who stumbled upon the secret late night broadcasting of lizards playing the overhauling music that hindered door to their extraordinary wings open. Seizures with access to this eccentric and oak chicken named Claudia, two kind of spirits who found each other at dusted time, united by this shared vision. They're set off on the adventures that begins as a hunt for the hidden society, but blossoms into something far greater and voyage through the invisible world and unexpected harmonies and the unbreakable bond between lost souls or who discover magic not only in what they find but each other. So this is going to be industry synopsis. This is like a more like more like obscure movie that one would be. Like I think like the weird movies like the Alex Winter's film. I think I remember that Freak. You know that the cult classic film that I think this is a there's a on the this is a directorial debut by Alex Winter of the Billy Ten fame. So this is like a direction. So I think this is more like a serious story or up to like I think the adjutant like Bo was afraid from Ari Aster like in the comparison like he was a weird film, but I think this is might have fit in the studio. Like Amazon and GM was probably gone prepared to profitable after many decades of struggling. So, and this is one of one. The Dwayne Johnson, actually, Dwayne Johnson was previous working of the with Amazon and GM in the last movie was last year's Red One. As a holiday Christmas holiday action comedy film. Was directed by the guy Jake Kasdan, director of Jumanji Legacy sequels, but the third on the way over at Sony Pictures. But I think but unfortunately, that it was a box office failure, and I think the Prime Video standards and even Amazon NGN has a problem that the Philadelphia was late. Even is pretty about a lot and gone expenses even in Amazon NGM. So, but even continue making movies, the Philadelphia into the new era, even into the Warner Brothers International Philadelphia deal, but now hand over to Sony Pictures. So, yeah, I think Chris Evans didn't save the movie either. So, anyway, so according Variety, what is that? This is really I don't know. Deadline wrote something pronouncing wrong, and it autocorrect that's the word. You serious? Do something right. Deadline. Anyway, according Variety, former Warner Brothers executive and now head of the film streaming and theatrical at Amazon MGM Studios, um, said, "We've also thrilled to partner once again with the extraordinary talented Dwayne Johnson as well." Yeah, the last movie was Red Rum was didn't much in the box office. It flopped. Nobody saw that movie. Is so big like it's like they're watching like the home. I'm probably watching Home Alone or any other Christmas holiday movies that pretty comedy, especially the Netflix and Hallmark holiday movies. Anyway, um, as well as working for the first time with the amazing creator, writer, and director Billy Safdie. Yeah, this is one of the Safdie brothers who worked in the last two films on those layers, Good Times and Uncut Gems, but now gone separate. But um, so pretty eventually, he had a lot of plans to continue making films after the especially the machine flopped. Even though I think one A24 relationship was not so much, but I digress. Anyway, on listed music, everyone at the Amazon NGM and UA is deeply inspired by their previous collaboration of a critical acclaim. That's a term that's so wide. Yeah, because he got okay reviews, but it didn't much in box office. The Smashing Machine. We are so excited to now collab with Ethan, and then on this imaginative entertainment and cinematic story, listen music is a tale that feels both timeless and unique. We are very fortunate that they have trust us to be their studio partners. Yeah, I think I think there's a reason that A24 was not having lots of marketing of this Smashing Machine movie. There's a Mark Kent USC biopic so way, but it didn't match in the but unfortunately they lost ton of money, and especially it's just like Bo was afraid all over again. Like A24 was partly much like before that A24 was focused away to more like and in auteur films and focus more on commercial appeal and growing IPs what is this New Night Cinema or Sony Pictures or heck even 20th Century Fox later 20th Century Studios, but I don't know what the hell is doing. You A24 might become a genre company that could be like Screen Gems, New Line Cinema, and especially Cineverse. Yeah, the same company who did Terrifying movies. I think this is pretty much why this A24 isn't the genre film company. Doesn't make no sense. Anyway, producers from Listen Music, including U.S. Stuber and Nick Nesbitt, also the Count Productions, Benny Safdie, Seven Bucks Productions, Dwayne Johnson's, and McNeely Fuse Entertainment, David Colbat. Um, We are lucky enough to work with Rain and Benny on the Metro projects and have seen firsthand in their career talents and the connection as artists, says Super. Um, the world they created together for listen music is unlike anything Nine has done before, and we could be more excited to bring this wonderful imaginative story to life. Said Safin, I could be more excited to go on this journey with Amazon NGM Studios and United Artists. Listen music is the book I ran to my to read to my two songs, and I read it to my the imagination. You mean that he married Million Sins, of course. Yeah, he had two songs anyway. Imagination and Wonder. I love Daniel Pinkwater as a person and Hoffer. The idea for the making movie where everyone can be joy. I can join to the controversy. Yeah, sorry. It's really it's both free and beautiful to go on this adventure with Rain and the two able to watch him explore and this and become the a chicken man is just beyond. I can't wait. Damn right, Safety and Stuper. I hope and see what happens. Maybe it's gonna be good. It's yeah. After the Smashing Machine Gun, okay reviews and the disappointing box office results, I think this is gonna be more like critical acclaim. But I hope Dwayne Johnson was not gonna be another box office failures. I think there's a couple of videos on YouTube, but I hope we see even the the theatrical distribution. But who knows? But we'll see. But I hope the Safdien and the Rock Johnson was going continue on working on this different kind of projects. But we'll see what happens. But I guess that the Rock is always a big cooking. All right, over the this is going to be a industry that the pop culture Jeopardy was going to be more changing direction because it's originally on the Amazon Prime Video, but a gone relationship. However, due to the restructuring over Amazon and GM, it had over to Netflix for the second season of Pop Culture Jeopardy. Because the reasons that Netflix has gone a relationship of Sony Pictures in more library and film and TVs, and especially the success of the Sony Pictures Animations K-pop Demon Hunters was a movie which gone broke the most successful watch Netflix movie of all time, and this probably spawned the franchise. And the movie theaters have all gone a lot of theaters, and more recently, as of today, that Netflix finally went to the movie theaters. We partnered with AMC theaters to maybe the re-release of the sing-along screenings of K-pop Demon Hunters because the reasons that Netflix didn't have the movie theater model because he's an anti-movie theater that model had to do. But after negotiations with AMC theaters, they finally decide, you know what, do it anyway. Let's bring a movies all to bring new movies all together, and thus the K-pop Demon Hunters was getting re-released on AMC theaters. But finally, with the this time in Halloween. There's another more noting over Film Stardom that I heard on the Red site. So you see right here. This is from the Film Stardom's page, and this if you live in Sweden, this basically the film started was a Swedish movie theaters it was owned by AMC theaters, of course, but since Netflix were finding agreement with AMC, they eventually go ahead to make that, especially Frank the Toto's Frankenstein movie. So this is going to be industry. It's going to be premiered next week, October 24th, and this is going to be on industry, and this stars Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, of a Phobia and Southpaw fame, and Mia Goth, as he's known the roles in the T-Rex X trilogy. He's a star, of course. That's a catchphrase. I don't know. Especially, and of course, Christoph Waltz, the German actor you see in a couple Quentin Tarantino movies, and so yeah, and also Jane Bond villain, of course. But yeah, but I haven't seen that. I'm only going to see on between on the before in October 26th. But I think the Frankenstein movie, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein movie is going to be happening maybe next week. So um, or maybe next couple of weeks, November 7th November. So even after too late for the Halloween party. So yeah, even K-pop Demon Hunters does count. Was basically it is released in the summer season, despite it was a horror related movie. Yeah, I understood that, Rebus, but the contorting K-pop Demon Hunters video was probably on Jimmy Fallon show was probably got a lot of feedback. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Since Sony Pictures had a lot of quite a relationship, even the SSX of K-pop Demon Hunters and other related shows between under the Apple Sony Pictures Television. Yeah, even the Boys and a couple of spin-offs and were pretty didn't was bigger success. Even the genre that the Amazon unscripted division was probably not happening in even the gone lot of organized over Amazon NGM Studios. So yeah. Anyway, let's continue on. So this is a pop culture Japanese makes a shock move to Amazon to Netflix for season two, called Shots. That's right. The host, one of the guys from Saturday Night Live, and Scarlett Johansson's wife, husband, sorry, um, in talks to return as host. I don't know what the you look at the name: Ron, Jenny, and Dwayne. I don't know. Ron Howard, Jenny Slate, Dwayne Johnson. That make no sense. The name doesn't make no sense. That's not related to the pop culture names. Well, Anyway, so this is from another article from Deadline. Pop Culture Jeopardy has a new home. The spinoff of the iconic game show is making a surprise move to from Amazon to Netflix for the second season. The series, which come from the Sony Pictures game show division, marked the first time that the Jeopardy series was created from the streaming service, and now we can stream under the second service in an experience rare in the world of the entertainment formats. College Jost, again, one of the guys of Saturday Night Live and the Scarlett Johansson's husband, who are hosting the first season on Amazon, which launched in December, is in the talks to return to Lean for the second season. This move comes out as Amazon is figuring out the unscripted strategy. The streamer has a new global head of television and former Netflix credited um, Peter Freilander, who will likely want put on his home stamp on things. Lauren Anderson, who currently oversees unscripted, has been the increasing focus on the advertising on side of the business, on the head of the brand and content innovation at Amazon NGM Studios and Prime Video, while the unscripted studio and GM Alternative TV was recently moved under the division that Freilander now oversees. Yeah, this is going to be all massive changes at Amazon NGM. Even the Mr. Beast series has gone a lot of controversy. Even it's probably going to be the second season, but now it's gone massive changes. So yeah. Meanwhile, a number of Amazon's unscripted execs had moved over to the Netflix over the last year, including the head of unscripted series Jenny Falkov and head of docu series Alisa Russo. Uh, yeah, this is that's what is happening to Netflix brand. Even documentaries has become popular. Even the untruth docu series, and especially the sports related docu series. But yeah, Netflix has become popular. Anyway, Pop Culture Jeopardy is a new twist on the classic show that originally started in 1964 that features three contestants trying to be expert in the categories such as alternative rock, The Avengers, MMA, or USC, Broadway, GMC, and Zendaya. Look at that, two different C words. Contestants play into teams of three will compete in a tournament style event for the grand prize in the alternate bragging rights. It launched on Amazon Prime Video as a part of the game show block Winning Wednesdays that also feature the Trappist Cassie, yes, Taylor Swift's husband, if you know, host Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity, JDB Smoothie front Buy It Now and Wish List games. The status of these titles is currently unclear, but there's no surprise they say the Casey was busy with the Kansas City Chiefs and the upcoming winning to Taylor Swift, so may not be returning to the studio anytime soon. So sad. I think I hope to see what happens. Even because I pretty know this. These I just met of that the celebrity was going to be a different host, but that's a whole another story for another time. Anyway, Mikey Davis, who served as the showrunner of Jeopardy, executive produced Pop Culture Jeopardy. The show will premiere its the second season on Netflix in 2026 next year. Pop Culture Jeopardy capitalized on the audience and with the its fun and intellectual gameplay building of the beloved franchise. The alpha fans are reported to test their zeitgeist knowledge said Sun Pete, president game shows and Sony at Sony Pictures Television. We could be more thrilling to be partnered with the expert team at Netflix to bring more episodes to our passionate and loyal viewers. So apparent reasons that the Prime Video and especially viewership was gone a lot lower, but even of the U.S. market. But pop culture Japanese was pretty much more different direction. Even Netflix had to do so. Even Prime Video was probably gone. The struck was again more like a gun direction. Even the Amazon MGM Studios. So I think this pop culture Japanese and especially host Colin just just what happened. So we'll see in the next year in 2026, and this is gonna be a second season, but now on under the Dudum Netflix. So we'll see. But if you're probably hoping to see what happens, I hope this could be works. Even release it in US or any other markets like worldwide markets, but that's what what to talk about. We will see. And that's it. Two different stories on the Amazon NGO news. So let's not race it. So last two was going to be a standalone with film and TV news. So there's a pretty much the news that the HK Global, formerly known as Sydney Kimmel Entertainment, will go on partnership deal, international sales deal with Film Nation Entertainment. Now, SK Global, or later formerly known as Sydney Kimball Entertainment, who's known the films we're familiar with. He had producers and a lot of content between all of the library and between the different kind of companies, but the brands between kind of the movies, the appear to kind of audience between Warner Brothers and even the 20th Century Fox, later 20th Century Studios, even the other companies follow suit, Lionsgate. So it's pretty much the different companies that we're related to. He also, before that, Sini Kimi was gone in a relationship with Metro Goldwyn Mayer, who had financial troubles at the time. So here's some select films. Sini Kimi was a lot of great movies, even the film producer who's been a lot since 1928. And he's 97 years old, and he's older. Yeah. I think this is. I think I pro happened. So these movies included select titles including Afro Dog, 97, Griffith and Phoenix. It was a romance film. Definitely Furio, Charlotte Podlet, Laws on the Real Go, The Kite Runner, Synthetic New York from Charlie Kaufman, Land, a U.S. remake of Death at the Funeral. Um, the Legal Lawyer of this is part of the reconnaissance. One of the money was a Kathy Heigl in film at Three People Know About Us. Gone was the Amanda Strasberg's film, was because of the final film on the standalone's Summit Entertainment before venture for Warner Lionsgate. The Place Beyond the Pines. Parker was a Jason Statham, Jennifer Lopez movie. I Frankenstein, Age of the Adri with It Ends With Us, Blake Lively, Domination with Jake Gyllenhaal and the late great John Mark Vadin. The Book of Henry, yes, the infamous movie by Colin Trevorrow starring Naomi Watts, as well as Brad Dallas and the Jesus Rolls, which is sort of spin-off and standalone sequel of The Big Lebowski, was a Coen Brothers movie. And in fact, it's well, this is basically the Coen Brothers was involved as executive producer, but anyway, and more recently the Glenn Bauer and C.D. Sweeties led film, Anyone But You, is a it was a film that you familiar that Wong Kong's become familiar. Like he after the um Ticket to the Paradise stars Julia Roberts and George Clooney. So I think this is a Wong Kong renaissance like that, but Matthew McConaughey was not included, thank God. But I hope this is more different. All the supporting cast, including Alexander Shipped, and from this is before the same after fresh off a Bobby movie, as well as some Australian actors you premiere. This is film shot in Australia, so and it did well, and it got 22.3 million dollars and got a massive hit. And it's because between that, they take it to the paradise and anyhow output you. This is where what before the red renaissance resurrection of the rom-com movies. And yes, and also this marks of the leading man's career of Sidney Sweeney before the got a destroyed career by Amanda Webb. And yes, this is the same company, Sony Pictures. Anyway, but Filmination, on the hand, was had the film's sales company in the he was fresh off the Best Picture winner Arona from Neon and Universal and Focus Features in overseas markets, and the nominee Concave, also from Focus Features, only in U.S. distribution. Was probably gonna like in film sales company who's had a lot of tons of films. You familiar with kind of film sales? Some movies like Denis Villeneuve's Arrival, Emma Farrell's directorial debut, Promising Young Women. Um, um, the Life of Jug was a disappointing film from the Mike Flannery. Was put on an okay review, but unfortunately it didn't match the box office. And even another Stephen King film was also starring Michael Hamill in the Long Walk, but I was going to see on Saturday. But anyway, and as well, and the recent the first film under Film Nation's Infair Pictures, Noble King, stars Jack Quayle, and so yeah, and also the known films before that, including some movies got the more claim, like Luca Guadagnino's Suspiria. Um, um, there's a movie. Oh wait, Did Not Go was another film was recent developed for the Fanny brothers sisters, but this is a horror 2018 Australian horror film, thriller film. So yeah, and I suppose to cover films like The Big Sick and Lucky, and especially Sin Street movie, if you're familiar. And the founder was a biopic of McDonald's, stars Mikey Keaton, of course. So I think this is more film slate. The Film Nation had content related to the content, and also a few Pebble Abadon movies. So yeah, so the Film Nation was more like a underground films international sales in the international market. Same thing with Summit Entertainment. Before he was in film international sales, and now ventured to make a film company due to success of Twilight. So because I think there's but there are people that like a content of the international sales between the SK Global and Film Nation, which holding on a lot of um, international sales of the film markets expelled. So between the main of the film festivals. So this is from Hollywood Reporter. SK Global and Film Nation linked to the international sales pack. Film Nation will help with the development and the packaging of SK Global feature film slate. SK Global is a financier and producer hits behind the titles like Anyone But You and Film Nation, which recently released the Best Picture winner Arona and nominee Concave. How they enter the partnership that will see the companies work together on the SK film slate. Financial will help with the delivery and the packaging of the SK Global's features, and will also present select mark projects for sale in the international market. The first projects under the new partnership would be SK Global's Radikex, a historical drama starring Jed Daniels, Jared Harris, and J.K. Simmons that during the 1986 Radikex summit between President Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev. Um, so, um, Film Nation COO Andy Kim, who was actually before he was working at the COO at the in now defunct Pechitate at Media Entertainment, of course, and the CEO Graham Baxter, who's a founder of Film Nation, said in his statement, "We're thrilled to be working with SK Global as a fair committed to both storytelling and imaginations." Filmmaking and champion fresh voices alliance with their own. Jinian Tang, COO at the SK Global, noted that Film Nation's um, global experiment in both strategy and creative visions is unmatched, and we're excited to collab as we continue to deliver it stories that connect with audience worldwide. Kim Tang, new edition to you on behalf of the respected companies. So I hope and see what happens in the Ghana law in the international sales and butchering the sell the in international film companies or U.S. market, mainly on streaming like Netflix and Amazon and GM and all the others. So we'll see what happened, and I hope to see what they improve the Amazon and SK Global and Film Nations had a deal. So shout out to Baba Scott, amazing dude, and Film Nation was probably Film Cell. So yeah, all right, let's not race you. And this is going to be a final one that Eva Victor, joining of the and Tony Gilroy's Sunlight Pictures film Behemoth, starring alongside David Harbour and the everyone's Hollywood likable actor on that is it, but um, uh, Chris Pratt um, and Keanu Reeves and Jack Black, Petro Pascal. So this is going to be Sorry Baby. Eva Victor was fresh off the role in the Sorry Baby was the A24 film that signed and agreed to joining of the cast of the Behemoth movie from Tony Gilroy of Andor fame. Was also produced under Disney, and since Disney who ongoing relationship into doing the Andor Star Wars series. So here's an article from Deadline. Excuse it. Eva Victor from Sorry Baby, and I've mentioned that this is Sorry Baby was a film that got a lot of attention. This is from A24. Despite he got a lot of views like Lucas Hedges and Sporting Act. So this is part of the A24 brand one that appeared to kind of different audience. Well, especially like if I mentioned the Smashing Machine was underperformed, but they continue one more the indie film studios, and same thing with it with the like they were Neon and Movie. So let's do it. So let's continue. Eva Victor from Subway Baby has closed a deal to join Pedro Pascal and David Harbour in Behemoth. This satellite film from Andor's Tony Gilroy. The character theaters on the wraps as the movie Long Line for Leroy has said in interviews that the film will roll it around the sell list. Yeah, I think this is going to happen, but there's no word to go be a synopsis, but we'll see. Gilroy is directing for her own script and producing the film alongside Sandy Wahlberg and Joel Gilroy, her brother, from also from Andor, with the producer group photography starting in Los Angeles later this month. Senior Vice President of Production Ray Roberts and creator executive Cameron Chaitis are overseen from Sunlight Pictures, reported to the heads of production at about Dan Tran Nguyen and Kay Goodson Thomas. Victor is come off of the feature directorial debut of with Sorry Baby, a dramedy she wrote and where she starred alongside Naomi Aki and Lucas Heckers, produced by Baron Jenkins Pastel. The film premiered to the critical acclaim at this year's Sundance Film Festival, where it won of the Waldo Salt Screenwriting Awards, with its jury praising its stunning honesty and moving sense of humor. So yeah, that's what you know. A24 acquired the film of the festival in what it was reported of the $8 million deal, unrated in the limited release in June 27, in ongoing expansion on July 18th. In the release review of the Sundance, Deadline's Pete Hammond said the flick was one of the most elusive and heartfelt movies, not only of this festival, but also one of the most astute and heartfelt films I haven't seen in a long time. Yeah, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I've almost watched on streaming or Netflix, so or a Prime Video, but we'll see. Prior to the Sorry Baby, Victor caught her teeth in the comedy spree, seeks to sex in the Mara Rider videos they have written of the New Yorker and the Red Rustics, serving as an associate editor and staff writer at the latter, and it made videos from the Country Central. As an actor, they have appeared in several other roles, most notably as Rain in the final three seasons of Showtime's Billion. Yeah, Ava Victor was born both the writer, director, and an actress was pretty much going to be more different. But this is like um, Benny Safran, who was probably an acting career, who's between the movies like Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer and even the Odyssey movie. I'm not sure, but I think the directorial efforts between this like Betty Safran was begun one of the Safran brothers between the movies like I said, the Good Times and Uncut Gems are now separate, including Mother Supreme, and the other was the Smashing Machine. But Eva Victor was more than like a actor, a director, a writer, but this is more different. So I hope to see what this movie going to be a casting. There's no word that role as, but I hope along with Petro and David will be united for the acting legend new movie from Tony Gilroy. As I think this is going to be happening, but I had know this is Tony Gilroy is the next directorial effort after the success of the Antos TV series from Disney Plus and was the Star Wars universe. So I hope we see what happens. And I hope there's no word to release date next, so we'll wait to see next year. And this is maybe it could be the award season, so can't wait. Whew, and that was a lot of fun. There's one, two, three, four, five stories I have to talk about of the film and TV launch form film and TV news video. I happen to upload. This is a longer videos that I had to do. So, what do you guys think? What do you think about this? If you were what Hamada was in your contract, Amazon, NGM, and United Artists landed Dwayne Johnson and Benny Saffer's newest project. Pop Culture Jeopardy was moved to from Amazon to Netflix, Prime Video to Netflix because he go ongoing restriction. And it's the companies, the same people, the team behind Anyone But You and Aurora and Concave was signed the international sales deal. And the stars of Sorry Baby, Eva Victor, joining in the Tony Gilroy's film, Be Muffin, from alongside Pedro Pascal and David Hubbard. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And I have a lot of fun to do with film and TV news, but I'm doing more at some point. But I haven't mentioned that Jim Carrey will be joining talks to join the cast. Started talks in a row in the Jepsons live action movie from the Colin for director of Jurassic World over at Warner Brothers. So we'll see what happens. Even the Duluca and Abby have impressed. So especially after the success of the Sonic the Hedgehog movies over at Paramount. So I think the Carry Sounds was to call that. So we'll see. And so yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think of these stories? Let me know in the comments. And I hope you see me doing more film and TV news in long form someday. So that's it. That's really it. Thank you for watching. Like this video, share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and ring your notification bell. And I'll see you guys in my next video. And remember, keep watching on One Me. Have a good day. Bye bye.